Yeah, they look, but you know, I've been wrong so many times, I don't even like to give my opinion anymore. Everyone, I want you to take a look at this. This is Robert. Now, Robert claims one of his sisters has 4 daughters, another sister has 3 daughters. Robert also has 7 sisters. Robert says it's clear that boys do not run in his family, even though he's a boy. So that's one of the reasons he doubts he's the father of this 1-year-old boy named Braxton. So joining us now from Tarentum, Pennsylvania, is Braxton's mother, Taya, who is furious that her boyfriend, Robert, is denying her son. Okay, what do you think about this excuse?
It's absolutely ridiculous because how can you not make boys? He did not go to the doctors, as far as I know, to get tested to see if he can have boys or not. So as far as I know, he can have boys.
Not only is he denying 1-year-old Braxton, he is also requesting a DNA test from us for your 2-year-old daughter, Britley.
Well, because she came out with dark hair whenever she was first born, and she had Chinese-looking eyes because she was 8 pounds, 15 ounces.
I see. I mean, I call him your boyfriend. Are you together? Do you have a relationship right now?
Yes, we are together, Maury. We usually are on and off because we argue a lot. We do. But sometimes we basically try to make agreements with each other, and they just don't seem to work. But we try to make it work for our kids, though.
So let's start with your 2-year-old, okay, with Britley. When did he start questioning her? Before she was born or not?
Whenever I was pregnant with Britley, he started questioning her because he wanted to try to sit there and say that the picture that me and him took together was another guy. So he's basically saying that he was another guy that I was sleeping with in the same bed. But meanwhile, it was him the whole time.
Wait a minute. Let me get this straight. He has a picture of you in bed with him, and he thinks it's another guy.
Yep.
Come on, really?
I know, right? Come on now. How do you not know what yourself looks like? You look at yourself every day, don't you?
I see. He came to the hospital, didn't he, when you gave birth to Britley?
Yes, he did. He actually came with flowers, nice, pretty roses. He came with McDonald's, even though I couldn't eat it. It was basically like a tease. But he was actually really sweet about it, and he actually got emotional whenever she was born. But then whenever she came out, that's whenever he started saying that I don't believe that that's mine because she has dark black hair.
Did he sign the birth certificate?
He did, yes.
Okay, so let's take a look at Britley once more and take a look at Robert. Do you think they have similar features?
Yes, look at the nose, look at the eyes, look at everything, look at the chin, look at everything on them. They look like freaking twins. They look like twins. I don't think she even looks like me.
Right. So let's move on to your son, Braxton, who's 1 now, all right? When did you discover that you were pregnant with him? Must have been pretty soon after you gave birth to Britley, right?
Yes, it was actually in December whenever I found out, which was super close. I told him that I was pregnant, and he basically didn't want to believe it, even though he's the one who basically planned it.
Right.
Because me and him were on a break, and in the beginning of October, I was messing around, we were on a break, but I didn't sleep with anybody. He kept accusing me and saying that I was sleeping with somebody. And I never slept with anybody. So I kept sitting there saying that I slept with this dude because he would not stop asking me these same questions.
Oh,
so
my God.
obviously I'm going to sit there and tell him what he wants to hear.
Taya, don't say that to a guy when it doesn't happen. I mean, we go bananas. I mean, between that and telling somebody he's not the father when he really is the father, that will drive us bonkers. We're too simple-minded to think anything else. You see, we're not smart enough to think that you're just doing this out of anger. We believe it, and I'm sure he believed it, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. He did believe it.
Okay.
Who's just going to come out and say they slept with somebody on a break and then say that they didn't once they get back?
Because you kept bothering me about it the whole freaking year. You would not stop running your mouth, so obviously I'm going to tell you what you want to hear, right?
So what did he say when you found out you were having a boy? Oh, boy, that must have stuck with him.
He was like, he wanted to sit there and say that's not his because he didn't think he could have boys. Like, whenever he seen the little pee-pee on the ultrasound, he was like, no, that can't be it. That's a mistake. It's going to come out a girl. I can't have boys.
What happened when you went to the hospital? Was he happier once he went to the hospital and saw Braxton or not?
We were actually fighting in the hospital. We were actually arguing in the hospital the whole time. And then as soon as I got out of the hospital, he left me. He went to work and then he didn't even come back home after that. So I was stuck with the newborn and my youngest and my other child, my oldest child.
So do you think Braxton looks like Robert?
Twins. Twins, look at that. Look at the nose. Look at everything. Look at everything, Maury. Don't they look like twins? Don't they look like twins?
Yeah, they look, but you know, I've been wrong so many times, I don't even like to give my opinion anymore. All right. Meanwhile, to me, the most important thing right now is to find out, is he a good father to both these kids?
He has his days. He does. He has his days. He believes that he's back in the day, okay?
Right.
He wants to sit there and say that I should change the diaper, I should feed them, I should bathe them, I should do absolutely everything, and he should not help me out at
I see.
all.
Oh, yeah, the woman's supposed to stay at home and take care of the kids, and I'm supposed to go out, and I'll do...
I think that's BS. That is BS.
Well,
that is
trust me.
No.
Trust me. I know it's BS because my wife has told me it's BS, okay? That's what I know. So, you know, I've been living these experiences my life, all right? We guys have to change our attitude about where a woman's place is.
Thank you. Tell him, Maury. Tell him how it is.
I'm going to. Robert, how would you describe your relationship with Taya these days?
Our relationship's rocky. It's up and down. I want to have belief that it's my kids. I just need to find out if these are really my kids or not.
Let me ask
It's
you.
rocky because of you, Robert.
Let me ask you this: if it's proven that you are the father of these two kids, is your relationship going to get better?
Yes, Maury. Our relationship would be 10 times better, and I'd step up and be the father to the kids that I made.
Who's in your ear about getting a DNA test? Who wants these tests?
It's mainly my family members and the relatives. They keep saying that it's not my kids.
And then every time we
just
break
wanna get
up,
it
you
done.
go around sitting there saying that they're not your kids. Every time we break up, you sit there and say that they're not your kids. So do you want to tell the truth now?
So when you're together, they're your kids, and when you're not together, they're not your kids. Is that it?
No, Maury. She also messes around with me, and sometimes I don't know if it's a joke or not. She'll sit there and say that's why the kids aren't yours.
Right. Not good. I understand where you're coming from there.
These are your kids. These are your kids, Robbie. I don't care. They're your kids. They're your kids. They're your kids. Put that through your head. They are your kids.
Let's move on. Talk about Brittany. Brittany, you didn't think Brittany looked like you when she was born. Does she look like you now?
Yes, Maury.
At first, Maury, no. She had black hair. She looked Chinese. She looked nothing like me.
Listen.
I wanted to believe she was
I have the
mine.
baby pictures. They look exactly like you. She looks exactly like you whenever you were born. I told your parents to send me a picture, and they look exactly like you. She looks like your twin when you were born.
I don't think they do.
Robert, let's move on to Braxton. You can't make boys?
No, I don't believe that I could.
Really?
Because there's so
You can't
many.
make
My sister has 4 girls. My other sister has 3. My dad has 7 girls.
Yeah,
I just
but-
don't believe
That has nothing to
I
do with
could
me,
have
though. What about my side of the family?
But wait a minute. Robert, your dad had you, didn't he?
it. Yeah, I was the first one.
Thank you, Maury. Thank you.
Okay.
Point proven.
Does Braxton look like you?
Yes.
I do believe that Braxton does look like me. There's some details I don't see me. Other details I do.
Oh, so I had a baby to a ghost or something? Is that what you're trying to say?
Taya, you're going to be a memorable guest. You got answers for everything.
Yes.
Okay, in the case of 2-year-old Brittany, Robert, you are the father.
I told you.
Yes.
I told you.
And in the case of 1-year-old Braxton, Robert, you are the father.
I told you.
So,
They're your twins.
okay. Taya, you proved it, okay? Now here's the one thing I want to tell you, Robert, before we leave, all right? Having babies is a two-way street. You just can't expect the woman to handle the baby care. You've got to pitch in, you got to change diapers, you got to watch them, you got to pamper them, and do all the things that a woman does with a baby. You got it?
I got it. I'll do that.
Okay, Ted, did I do the right thing here?
Yes, thank you.
All right.
You are not the father.